Hello everybody, how are you doing? I hope you're all well and enjoying our content again this week. The others have prepared some great stuff for you on creative non-fiction, which I hope you enjoy. And my contribution is going to be a little video just about rants and ranting. I love a good rant, as you may have observed if you see me in class. And I think it's a really healthy thing to do. It's just sometimes you need to have a rant. And there's two ways of doing this. One is to have a rant just for yourself, and one is to share it with other people. And I'm going to talk about the first type first. So what is a rant? A rant is an expression of frustration or anger. Really, it's a diatribe is another good word for a rant. It's when you talk about something in a verbal or written form, and you just let it all out. You just go on and on and on about the topic and express all that anger and frustration that's built up about it, and there it is, and let it go. And usually at the end of a good rant you feel better, you've expressed your opinion, and you can move on with your life until the next time. Rants can also be very funny. For example, I mean, a lot of comedians are good ranters, but two spring to my mind immediately. One is Ben Elton, if you remember the 1980s, who used to rant about Thatcher and things, again expressing that extreme frustration, and because it was a frustration shared by his audience, he was saying what everybody else felt, so you get caught up in it and you get the same sense of release as you do if you're ranting yourself. Another example, more contemporary, would be Adam Hills from The Last Leg on Channel 4 and his stand-up shows, and he does regular rants about politics and disability and so on, and again it's that build up from a general issue into something really passionate. If you don't want to feel pent up and aggressive, or if you already feel a bit somebody else ranting can set it off a bit and make it and jar with it and make it uncomfortable. So we're talking today about you expressing your anger and irritation with the world through ranting. So it can be ranting for well-being. We tend to think of writing for well-being as being about relaxation, calming you down, getting you to slow down and think about things, or as a distraction, and it's good for all of those things, but it's also really good if you just need to get some feelings out. So for this kind of rant, it's entirely up to you what you rant about and how you do it. You could type it onto a computer, or you can write it into a book or on a piece of paper. You might find that you just want to rant and then you never want to look at it again, in which case you can write it on a piece of A4, fling it in the bin when you're done. That's the end of that. Burn it in a fire, whatever feels therapeutic to you. You might find it's satisfying to type away in a Word document and then not save it, just delete it at the end. It's what Word documents want to do anyway, is just delete themselves, so why not? Or you could write it in a journal, or you could keep it on your computer just in case you want to look back. It's another form of journaling, really, I suppose, or keeping a diary. It's having a good rant. But the important thing is to get it out, and to, when you've got it out, to just take a moment, think, okay, I've said all that, that's fine, and put it to one side. Perhaps do something a bit more calming in the writing for well-being area if you wish. But yes, don't let it continue past the session. The idea is to get out what you feel on paper and feel better. If it's not making you do that, then try something else instead. So that's ranting for your own well-being. Now, there's also ranting for mutual benefit. As I said, when performers share their rants, the rest of us can go along for the ride, and we can let them express our feelings for us and just say, yes, that's exactly what I feel, and feel better for that, because solidarity is another good way of dealing with these feelings if we share them. So how do we go about doing that? Well, the first part of the process is exactly the same. You write down your frustrations in whatever form they come out. This is your first draft, so you're just getting everything down there that's in your head. But then if you want to share it, and you want to share it as a polished, finished piece of work, whether for performance or to put on a blog or anything like that, you'll need to go back and have a look at it. And you can use the writing techniques that you've learnt for other forms of creative writing to make your rant more ranty. So for example, you need a hook at the beginning to get the audience involved. It can be, I mean, comedians would use a phrase like, what is it with bins? Or that was one of Ben Elton's favourite ones. Or have you heard about whatever the thing is that you want to rant about? So get that hook, get people interested straight away. Say something a bit outrageous or controversial, and that'll get everybody's ears pricked up. And then you want to do an introduction, so you're setting out your contract to say what it is you are actually going to be ranting about. So if you did say something a bit controversial, you might want to make your position clear on that, so people aren't going to get disappointed if you're ranting the opposite point of view that what they feel. So you need to collect your audience together and take them with you to say what it is that you're going to rant about. So let's think of an example. What have I got to rant about? So much I've got to rant about. And yet I can think of nothing. I'm actually feeling quite calm today. It's surprising. But then I had a good rant yesterday. What was I ranting about yesterday? I was ranting about fake news. That's what I was ranting about yesterday. I got really cross about a story about ozone having various properties it actually scientifically doesn't have, and people were getting gullible. So for my hook, I might say, so apparently ozone kills the virus that causes the common cold. This is one of the claims that I read. And then in my introduction, I would say, actually, there's a lot of scientific evidence that says it doesn't, and yet people were taken in, and these were the consequences, and then you're getting ready for your rant. So your introduction sets out your stall of what you're going to say. Then you would start to build that rant, and that's where you can really use that raw fuel that you had from your first draft to good effect, but pace it so you're not just always ranting at top pitch. You can build your rant from being mildly annoyed to more irritated to really, really cross. Again, taking the audience along with you, because an audience, if you start off with too much of a fever pitch, you've got nowhere to go, and the audience is just going to get a bit flat and feel a bit attacked by the constant anger. You need to start it low and build it bit by bit. And then at some point you want something that will hit the nail on the head. The one that Adam Hills often uses is "don't be a dick." So that's his catchphrase. He'll put that in at that point. With Ben Elton, it was obviously Thatcher. So you need some kind of something that sums up your rant, something that you've built up to. That's the pinnacle of your argument and your anger. And then you need to chill, because you need to bring yourself back down. You need to bring your audience down too, so they don't stay angry. No performer likes an angry audience for long. So something funny obviously helps. Humour is great for ranting because it takes off that edge of aggression and turns it into something that's easier for us to cope with. And when I was saying earlier about if you're doing ranting for wellbeing, at the end, bringing yourself back a bit, that's something you could do. Look at the funny side. There's always a funny side. Try and bring that out as a way of just calming yourself and moving along. So that's your 5 steps really. Another tip would be to use music. So if you're wanting to rant and you need to keep the emotional intensity going, things like rap music or classical music like Elgar, Pomp and Circumstance, da, 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 that one. Anything that's really going to keep you in that passionate place. And it is about passion, really, a rant. It's not just about anger. It's about really, really investing your feelings in something and needing to express them. If you want to find out more about this, there's a full blog post about it on the Writing Tree website, writingtree.co.uk. So by all means go and take a look at that if you want a quick recap. But give it a go. Next time you feel cross about something, pick up a piece of paper and a pen and just rant about it. And then see if that could be turned into some kind of entertaining content for somebody else. Here, like us, for example, you might want to send your rants to us, and then we could have a look at your writing and tell you how fabulous you are. Thank you for all the Creative Writing Heals submissions. We've got lots of a bumper crop for our next book. I'm really excited to get stuck into editing that over the next couple of weeks and putting it together. I'll keep you informed. So go away, do some writing and let us see it. It would be fantastic. Just email it to us or pop it in the comments and we'd really love to see it. Stay well, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.